Feeling stuck about the job of getting organized before you've even begun? Stick around, because it's actually smaller and simpler than you think. Overwhelm is what happens when you don't know what to do or where to start. It happens when you are keeping track of too many things and not knowing what to do or where to start. And I can't remember the last time a client started our initial conversation without saying, there's just so much stuff or mess. I don't even know where to start. So it's usually one of two things. One, you have such a volume of things that you aren't even sure which things are going to make a real difference. And so you get a little bit stuck and you don't know where to start and you feel like you need a little more information. And it seems like there should just be a thread to pull, and that one thread will make everything else easier. But you feel stuck until you know what that thread is. Second reason is because it feels like it requires so much energy, and you just don't have it today. And maybe you do another day. Well, you think you might some other day. I'm not really sure what that day is. Maybe it's Tuesday, and it's raining, or I don't know, maybe that day that everything becomes clear and it'll just magically open the doors of motivation and you'll be able to get organized once and for all. But it's really about being afraid of doing it wrong. Really, both of those things, having too much and not knowing what thread to pull to make it easy, and thinking there's going to be more energy a different day. It's about not knowing. It's the uncertainty that you will be able to maintain it. There's a fear there. Maybe you've tossed some things in a rage organizing session that you regretted later. Or maybe you didn't think through all the steps of a system and so it fell apart. Or maybe you didn't realize that there is practice involved in making habits and so you gave up too soon. Getting organized is trial and error. It's practicing. It's repeating, it's practicing some more, see what works well, adjusting, curating, trying a different approach. And in the meantime, you are wasting time, energy, and money. And so we better get started. The stuck loop happens when we think that getting organized is going to be harder than just dealing with the mess, accommodating the mess. Dealing with the frustration day in, day out. Well, that didn't take that long. I'll just do it this way again. I'll get to it later. And then you realize you've wasted 6 weeks a year looking for your keys. Add it up. 5 minutes a day, looking for things, adds up to about 6 weeks a year. And statistics say we actually spend up to 2 hours a day looking for things we can't find. So what if we switched it around a little bit? What if the secret to being organized is that someone took the time to set it up? Not that they were better at using things, but they took a moment to think through the process of how you would be using the things you're working with. The places where things would live in your home, so everyone knew where the Band-Aids were. It's weird. We know where the ice cream is. It's in the freezer, or it's melting on your counter. One of the two. But if you don't take the time to do that for every piece of item and thing and stuff you brought into your house, you're going to have a mess. And then you're going to feel overwhelmed. And then you're going to feel kind of incapable. So waiting for things to settle down and be more energetic one day or have less things on your to-do list so you can really focus isn't the right approach. We need to think about incremental improvements that will exponentially improve your day-to-day life, make things easier. So let's go ahead and start, because chances are you're a perfectionist procrastinator. And I'm here to break you of that. I'm going to walk you through various ways of figuring out how to do it differently. The fear of doing it wrong doesn't have to hold you back. Just figure out a right way to do it and try that. Also, you can't do it wrong because there's a bazillion different solutions to every system problem. The trick is finding the one that works for you. And we've been using steps to get organized for years without really realizing that you have to connect all the dots. So I see it all the time online. There is a way to optimize your day. Well, that's great. But if you haven't set up the things you need to do the work during that day, you're still going to feel frustrated and feel like you weren't able to do the things and that system doesn't work for you. And so you're going to give up a little too soon. So it's about learning how to connect the dots. And the process itself is part of the process. The sooner you start, the sooner you get to start practicing. And the more you practice, the easier every day gets. You know where your things are, you know how to use them, and you know how to do things. It's about the workflows. And it turns out 90% of my clients spend a lot of time thinking they're getting organized, just rearranging things. They pull a bunch of stuff out, they spread it out, they sort it, and then they put it back. They don't actually do a declutter. They don't actually think about how and where and when they're going to use something and what the step after that is. So there's no perfect solution. Again, we just start and we get into it. There's no shame of it. We got to learn it. It's a learned skill. So I'm here to help you connect the dots and get through the steps. I talked about one last time, dreaming. You got to know where you're going. And then you have to declutter. And then you have to design the system based on the things you have in your life and what you want to do with them. And then you have to practice some more, because that's how you develop habits. And developing the habits and routines are what save you energy. They save you time, energy, and money, because as you practice things, you build muscle memory. You don't have to think through all the steps of how you brush your teeth every day or how you get in the car and back out of your driveway. These things are now routine. They are rituals you go through without having to think about them. So the more of those you can put in place, the more time you free up for deep and creative work. And I know my people are creative. You like to create things. And in fact, you hate restrictions and don't like feeling constrained. But here's the catch-22 of it. Constraints set you free. Systems set you free. And a system is a constraint that serves you instead of one that doesn't serve you. When we're super creative or entrepreneurial, we think we have a bazillion possibilities and we do not want to be limited. But that leaves you stuck because you can't decide what to work on, or you decide on something and you can't find the stuff you need. And so you're right back where you started, stuck for 10 minutes looking for the thing so that you can do the thing you really wanted to do. Instead, put constraints that serve you. Things around the space you have, how you do the work, when you're going to do the work. These are about small incremental changes that lead you to be an organized person. It can be as simple as moving a pen cup across the desk to free up a lot of time. But let's get back to the permission to just start. Turns out it doesn't really matter where you start. But I usually suggest with what frustrated you the most today, or what will create a safe, calm space for you to be outside of the overwhelm, for in between your organizing and your day-to-day activities. So it doesn't matter. Just pick one. And then we want to think about starting small. You can't pull everything out of your garage and expect to be organized and complete by the end of the day. It's too many things. And that's probably the biggest mistake my clients make. They think they have to do an entire room or an entire area at once. And really, it's about chunking it down into very small parts. Is there a surface, a drawer, a bin, a cabinet that can be examined and decluttered and thought through? That's how you get organized, one small space at a time. And we don't then pull out a whole lot more and think, oh, I made space. I'm going to put some of that stuff from the second place into the first space. We don't organize by space. We organize by function. So when you're starting out, start small, eliminate what's in the way from one space, and then leave that space. Go to the next space. Eliminate what's not necessary from that space. And you continue going through and honoring each space as you complete it. Sometimes you're going to know more of the system than others, but the system will reveal itself because getting organized in and of itself is a discovery process. It's a giant experiment in how you want to live your life and what things you need to live that life. And just put your crap where it goes. But you have to know where it goes. And that's what we're going to do. Define a holding place for the items in your life so you know where to put it. Like the ice cream goes in the freezer, right? No brainer. You don't have to think about it anymore. Pens go in the pen cup by the charging station or on the desk on the left-hand side because you're left-handed. Get what I'm saying? It's knowing where something goes means that you get to use it when you need it and how you use it, and then you put your toys away. That's part of the constraint, knowing where it goes so you can use it when you need it. It's really about keeping like things together, and like things together can take a lot of different forms, and we'll talk more about that in the future. But if you know where your things are and how you're going to use them, it's easy, right? Go get the ice cream. I'll wait. All right. So the constraints will set you free. The things, why that matters beyond just how much stuff you have is that you will then get to be creative. You will get to use the things you really love and want to use in ways you want to use them. It'll no longer be overwhelming. It'll be freeing. You will get energy and motivation from the fact that you're doing what you want to do. So, on the other side of all this disorganization and lack of systems is going to be much more fun and freedom to play. Just getting started is not that hard. Make it small. Do one small area at a time and methodically work around each space in your house until you're done. That's it. I know it sounds super easy, feels much harder, but I want you to take one doable step, one thing that makes it easy next time. Easier. It's about the be better mindset. If you leave things better than you found them, it's easier the next day. It matters that you do each step, not necessarily in the same order every time, but that you understand how the steps fit together. How dreaming, decluttering, creating a system, practicing the system till you develop the habit, and then enjoying the system by delighting in your efforts. So I thought it through, and it feels like the act of organizing itself is super satisfying when you do it. And so you build that satisfaction and fulfillment muscle every time you practice organizing. You get to be a better organizer each and every time you practice it. And you get to live a more fulfilling and satisfying life because you're closing that feedback loop for yourself. I moved this over here. I made a couple decisions. Things are easier. There's less clutter in the way. Things are smoother. I now know what to do, where the things are. And my brain is not exploding with trying to keep track of everything. So let's talk about a simple, small thing you can actually do to help feel that satisfaction. I want you to grab your wallet. We're going to just declutter your wallet. It takes just a couple minutes. You're going to empty your wallet. You're going to not take everything out of it. You're going to knock out all the crumbs and the nooks and crannies And then as you put things away, you're going to do it in a particular order because there are the essentials that we should have in our wallets and everything else is extra. So this is another little trick you can play with yourself as you look at all your things and declutter. You can put the money back. And as you put the money back, I want you to face and straighten your bills and fold them either all together or by denomination into the right section of your wallet. And then I want you to put your IDs in there. Any IDs you need for day-to-day living, like your actual driver's license or official ID. You may need a couple other IDs if you're a student or have work passes, that kind of thing, but just the ones you need all the time. And then I want you to put your debit card and primary credit card, just one of the credit cards. The others are extra, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But put back your primary debit card and credit card. Designate one of the spots to put receipts as you receive receipts throughout your day. You don't have to put back the ones that were already in there. You're going to put those away elsewhere. And then you want to put your in case of emergency details in there somewhere. You know, that little note in your wallet that says contact this person in case of emergency. And you want to tuck in your health insurance details. Everything else belongs in a different place. And I know you're going to tell me, but this is where I keep all of my credit cards. And I will say that is how you overspend. Having a separate place for your other cards means you have to think through purchases in a slightly different way. It means you have a different spot. I keep mine in the drawer of my desk. And then when I plan to go to a specific store that I have a credit card for, I grab that card for that particular purpose. So membership cards, the same thing. If you go to the gym 6 times a week, of course it makes sense to keep it in your wallet. But if not, you don't need to keep all your membership cards in your wallet. We want to travel lighter, so we'll be faster. Take out the gift cards until you're going to that store to shop. I actually keep my gift cards in the glove box of my car because that way when I'm at the store, I can go, oh, I have a gift card. I can use it today, not carry it around all the times in between. So I also, at the end of every day, you're going to practice clearing out your wallet. And it's not hard because you just decluttered most of it. Now you get to pull out the receipts every day and put your receipts where you keep receipts. Most of them go in the trash, people. Occasionally they need to be reconciled or thrown in a tax file, but that's a topic for a different day. So just know you're keeping it light. You are going to be developing a habit of pulling any receipts out of your wallet every day. And you've now created space for money to come in and for flow to happen and to be more considerate of the purchases you make in the first place. Now go enjoy your week. You can do another small area tomorrow. If this helped you see that organizing doesn't have to be so hard, start with one small decision today. One pile, one drawer, one open loop, one thing you can make simple enough to move forward today. And if you want more practical ways to simplify your space, decisions, and mindset as an entrepreneur, subscribe to More Than Organized and watch the next video here. It will help you take the next step without turning your whole life into a project.